Have you ever wondered what could scare a Viking? It wasn't just a bigger army or a stronger fortress. Deep in the snowy north, the Vikings, those masters of raid and conquest, met a people they simply couldn't fight. The Sami. It wasn't that the Sami defeated them in battle. In fact, the Vikings quietly avoided their lands altogether. Why? Because the Sami refused to be conquered in a way the Vikings understood. They were masters of the environment, moving like ghosts through the frozen forests. Their deep knowledge of the land, their stealth, and their mobility made traditional Viking warfare useless. You can't lay siege to a people who disappear with the snow. The Sami had no castles to burn, no towns to pillage. Their power was in their connection to the wild, and this was backed by a reputation for powerful magic. Was likely their shamanic traditions. For a Viking warrior who believed in a glorious death in battle, facing an enemy you couldn't even find, an enemy rumored to wield ancient spirits, was a psychological dead end. It was easier and safer to just steer clear. Now, let's travel from the frozen north to the bustling streets of Edo period Japan. As dusk falls over the city we now call Tokyo, a new world awakens. This isn't the world of samurai lords and grand tea ceremonies. This is the world of the night market. Imagine the air thick with the scent of grilling eel, the savory steam from soba noodle carts, and the sweet aroma of dango dumplings. Street food in Edo wasn't just a convenience, it was the great social equalizer. Here, a hungry laborer could stand shoulder to shoulder with a samurai in disguise, both just looking for a warm, quick meal. The vendors were masters of efficiency. A bowl of hot soba provided warmth on a chilly night. Grilled unagi offered a burst of energy. Fish cakes were the perfect, easy snack. This vibrant world operated under strict rules, especially concerning fire in a city built of wood and paper. But the most magical part, by dawn, it all vanished. The carts, the food, the crowds gone without a trace, leaving only the memory of a shared meal under the lantern light. Let's leap across continents and centuries again, to Roman Londinium. Forget the grand marble villas of Rome you see in movies. For an ordinary Roman living in provincial Britain, life was a bit smokier, and damper, and a lot less private. Imagine a small, cramped house, its walls beautifully painted with scenes from mythology, and its floors decorated with intricate mosaics. These weren't just for show. They were a constant, daily reminder. We are Roman. Even here, on the rainy, foggy edge of the empire, identity was everything. The air would be hazy with smoke from the hearth and the flickering light of oil lamps, casting long shadows. Privacy was a luxury most couldn't afford. You'd share communal latrines, and the sounds and smells of your neighbors were a constant part of life. Yet, through it all, the rain, the smoke, the noise, these ordinary people held onto their culture. Every meal, every painted wall, every piece of pottery was a quiet declaration of who they were, a piece of Rome stubbornly planted in British soil. Finally, we return to Britain, but before the Romans fully tightened their grip, let's meet a young girl who would one day make the empire tremble, Boudica. But before she was a warrior queen, she was a child of the Iceni tribe. In her world, women weren't just wives and mothers. They could be leaders, druids, and landowners. Wealth wasn't counted in gold coins, but in cattle. History was unwritten in books, but spoken in epic poems passed down through generations around the communal fire. Her childhood was one of watching and learning the value of her people as freedom and their deep connection to the land. But then, she saw the change. It started subtly. A new road, straight and unnerving, cutting through ancestral lands. A stone fort rising where a sacred grove once stood. Then came the Roman tax collectors, the unfamiliar laws, the slow, grinding erosion of the Iceni way of life. Her eventual rebellion wasn't a sudden explosion of rage. It was the culmination of a lifetime of observation, the inevitable response of a leader who had watched, piece by piece, as the Romans tried to erase everything her people held dear. From the quiet power of the Sami to the ephemeral magic of Eidos night markets, the stubborn identity of Romans in Britain, and the formative years of a future rebel queen, these stories show us something powerful. They reveal that history isn't just made in the clash of swords. It's also shaped in the quiet moments, in the choice to avoid a fight, in the sharing of a meal, in the decoration of a home, and in the slow-burning embers of cultural resistance. It's in these subtle, human details that we find the true, enduring spirit of the past. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey through time, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.